Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm starting my first of a week of book hauls. There is just too many books to show you in one haul, so I've decided to do a bit of a book haul bonanza, and I will be showing you books over the next 5 days, Monday to Friday. So look forward to seeing lots more books from me over the next week. Basically what's happened is that I've decided to take part in the hashtag Read My Own Damn Books movement. This was something that was created by Estella's Revenge, so Estella at Estella's Revenge, and it's a really great idea. It's very simple, there's not any rules. It's basically just to challenge yourself to try and read more books off your shelves. I certainly have a lot of books off my shelf, and so this year I'm going to set myself the target of reading 100 books off my shelf. And also, in order not to just completely replenish them, I've decided that I'm setting myself a budget each month. So rather than saying to myself you can't read one until you've bought 10, which I don't think works for me, I'm setting myself a budget of a certain amount of money every month, and I can buy as many books as I want secondhand or otherwise, as long as it's within that budget. So before I started that, because these books have been ordered for a couple of weeks now, I decided to have a bit of a splurge. I'm the same with most things. Just before I start back on sort of a healthy eating, I tend to have a big binge. It's just how I work, and it works well for me. And so I decided that I was going to use some Christmas money and some vouchers that I had for my birthday left over, and I was going to have a splurge on all the books that really piqued my interest, and that would be it. So although these books are obviously being shown to you in January, they were all bought before the end of 2015, and so don't count towards my 2016 goals. The first book I want to show you was a book that came as my last book of the year from the Willoughby Book Club, and that is Winterkill by Kate A. Borman. I don't know an awful lot about this. The blurb doesn't tell you an awful lot, but from what I can gather, it's about a girl. She's not meant to leave the village. It sounds a little bit like the book or film The Village, but basically they're not meant to leave the village. Something lies out there which is scary, but she finds the trees are calling to her. Inside the village is a marriage she doesn't want and a boy she can't have, and she decides to leave, and it says the Malmasai lies in wait and the freezing winter kill is coming. So it sounds really interesting and very up my alley. I recently bought Vendetta by Catherine Doyle, and I picked up the second book, Inferno, by her also, because I wanted to make sure I had the duology so that I could read them one after the other. Vendetta is meant to be sort of a Romeo and Juliet type story, but set in more of a sort of mafia scenery. So I'm not going to read the back of this one because it's the second one and I don't want to spoil myself, but I wanted to pick up this one so that I could read both. Next book I picked up is The Queen of All That Dies by Laura Thalassa. I really enjoy Laura Thalassa's writing and enjoyed reading The Vanishing Girl, so I wanted to pick this one up. It sounds really interesting. It's about a world where a king has been taking over all of the different realms. He's taking over all of the empire, apart from one nation which is still as yet unconquered, where the main character is sort of the emissary for that, and it's about what happens, politics, their relationship. It just sounds really interesting and fun. The next book I picked up is Killing Sarai, which is the first book in the Company of Killers series by J.A. Rudmersky. I've heard lots about this from various different people and just thought I wanted to pick up the first one and see how I got on. I believe it's a new adult book. It's about a girl called Sarai who has been living in sort of a drug lord's compound for a lot of her life because her mother married into the sort of mafia, and one of the mafia assassins comes to the compound for a meeting, and she uses him as a way of sort of escaping. However, things don't go quite as they're planned. There may be romance in there, but it just sounds really, really fun. Next book I picked up is Roxy's Baby by Kathy McPhail. I'm not sure where I heard about this, but it sounds really interesting. It's about a girl, a young teenage girl who gets pregnant. She leaves home and is found by these people who take her in and offer her help, but all is not as it seems, and possibly they want her for different reasons. I don't know, but it sounds really heart-wrenching and interesting. The next book I picked up is Fishnet by Kirsten Innes. I really love the sound of this. It's the winner of the Guardian Not the Booker Prize 2015. The basic story is about a girl. She walks out of her sister's flat and disappears. We follow the sister 6 years on, I believe. Is it 6 years on? Yes, 6 years on, who's working in a tedious job, but finds out that her sister was working as a prostitute before she disappeared, and she then starts delving into this sort of seedy underbelly and finding out more about what has happened and this sort of prostitution. It sounds really, really gritty, and I can't wait to try it out. The next book I picked up is Alice Takes Back Wonderland by David D. Hammonds. This sounds really interesting, and I've really enjoyed Alice in Wonderland stories recently, which is interesting because I'm not all that taken with the original story. I quite liked the original story, but I seem to be really enjoying the retellings. So yeah, go figure. So this one is about a girl called Alice, who has been told so often that you know, she's making up Wonderland, but then the White Rabbit appears, kicks her down into Wonderland, but she finds that the Ace of Spades has been turning everything not so wondrous. So things that were wonderful are now becoming mundane. He's making it very ordinary, and so Alice decides to help the Mad Hatter turn it back into the Wonderland it should be. So it sounds like a really interesting, fun story. Next, I picked up a graphic novel called Heart in a Box by Kelly Thompson and Meredith McLaren. I heard about this on somebody's channel as well. These are mainly books that I've picked up on recommendations. I'll read you the back of this one. It sounds really interesting. I like the artwork in this, and it says, when the man with no name breaks Emma's heart, she wants to die, but you never die from these things, you just want to. In a moment of desperation, Emma wishes her broken heart away, and a mysterious stranger, who may or may not be totally evil, obliges. But emptiness is even worse than grief, and Emma sets out to collect the 7 pieces of her heart now spread across the country, a journey that forces her to face her own history and leads inevitably to a confrontation with a man with no name himself. It just sounds really good. The next book I picked up is Black-Eyed Susans by Julia Haberlin. I think this sounds amazing. It's a beautiful cover, and I absolutely adore the end papers in this. The basic story is that there's a 17-year-old girl. She helps put away a serial killer. She's the only one to have escaped. Then we skip 17 years later, and the woman, Susan, is now an adult, and she has a daughter who is a similar age that she was. But Black-Eyed Susans, which were the sort of calling card of this serial killer, are now appearing planted outside her bedroom window, and the case is reopened, and they are trying to discover whether there is a new serial killer, a copycat serial killer, or whether it was not the right person that was caught in the first place. So this sounds riveting. Next up is a book I don't know an awful lot about, and I have never watched the podcast, but I picked up Welcome to Night Vale by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Cranor. This is a purely impulse buy, I suppose. I've never watched the podcast. I just thought the synopsis sounded really interesting. It says, welcome to Night Vale, a friendly desert community where the sun is hot, the moon is beautiful, and mysterious lights pass overhead while its citizens pretend to sleep. It's a town like your town, with a city hall, a bowling alley, a diner, a radio station reporting all the news that's allowed to be heard. It might be more like your town than you'd admit. In this ordinary town where ghosts, aliens, and government conspiracies are part of everyday life, the lives of 2 women with 2 mysteries are about to converge. So I really love the end papers in this one as well. And also it makes me think a little bit of Roswell, which was a bit of a TV series that I used to love when I was younger, and it just felt a bit nostalgic for me, so I thought I'd pick it up to give it a go. So the next one I picked up in a quest to find the ultimate short story collection for me is A Portable Shelter by Kirsty Logan. This book is truly beautiful, and I was really lucky that there was still a copy in my local Waterstones. I've heard nothing but good things about this. Kirsty Logan wrote The Gracekeepers, which I really enjoyed, and I've also picked up a couple more of her short story collections to read, which I'll be showing you in a later haul. This, I believe, is 13 strange stories, tales of circuses, stargazing, sulky fishermen and domestic werewolves, child-eating witches and broken-toothed dragons, and it just sounds really magical, so fingers crossed this is the one that gets 5 stars. Next, I picked up a recipe book. I am absolutely, totally obsessed with my spiralizer, which makes courgettes, or if you're American, zucchinis into noodles, or you can use carrots or potatoes or lots of different things, celeriac to make noodles rather than using pasta, and I'm really obsessed with using it. I love it, but I wanted to mix up what I've been doing. I'm very sort of simple normally. I add some chicken and some pesto to my zoodles, and I wanted to start branching out and being a bit more healthy with what I'm putting into it. And I saw on Lauren and the Books channel that she had got this recipe book for Christmas called Inspiralized by Ali Mafuki, and it looked brilliant, so I got myself a copy. And as you can see, I've already marked off a few that I want to make. I'll show you which ones. I really like the look of this one. It's lemon, garlic, broccoli, bacon, which looks really nice. And I've already actually tried this one, which is a vegan celeriac Alfredo with 10 stem broccoli, and it was phenomenal. It was lovely. My husband loved it. In fact, he had it 2 days running. So this book is definitely a winner for me. Next, I think you might have seen, if you watched a previous haul, when I met up with the lovely Caitlin from Kitty G and Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musings. Caitlin was getting rid of the first volume, or the second volume of Fables, and so I thought, well, I'll pick up the first one and then I can start reading this series. I think I've read bits of this series before, but it was a long time ago, and I want to give the first 2 volumes a go and decide if this is one that I want to commit to, because there is a lot of them out. I wanted to give Gem and the Holograms new graphic novel a go, so I picked up volume 1. This is written by Kelly Thompson and has artwork by Sophie Campbell. I really enjoy the look of the artwork in this, and so I can't wait to get started. I loved this when I was younger. I loved the TV show. Next up is a book that I saw on somebody's best of 2015, and I thought I would pick it up, and it's Nowhere But Home by Lisa Palmer. It just sounded brilliant. I'll read you the back because I just think it says it all. Queenie Wake has been fired from her job as a chef for not allowing customers to use ketchup. Again. Now the only place she has to go is North Star, Texas, the hometown she left in disgrace. Maybe things will be different this time round. After all, her mother, notorious for stealing your man, your car and your rent money, has been dead for years. And Queenie's sister, once the local teenage harlot who fooled around with town golden boy, is now mother of the high school football captain. Queenie's new job, cooking last meals at a nearby prison, is going well. At least the inmates don't complain. But apparently small town Texas has a long memory for bad reputations, and when Queenie bumps into Everett Coburn, the high school sweetheart who broke her heart, she wishes her own memory was a little spottier. But before Queenie takes another chance on love, she'll have to take an even bigger risk, finding a place to call home once and for all. This just sounds really, really lovely, and I love books that are set in Texas. The next book I don't know an awful lot about. It just sounded intriguing, and that is Pantomime by Laura Lamb. All I know about this book is that it is set in the circus, it's got acrobats, it's got aerialists, and we follow 2 characters, Micah and Jean. And that's all I know, and that's all I want to know. I love circuses. It sounds interesting. I can't wait to get to it. So that's all I'm going to show you in today's video. Look out tomorrow for more books from my book haul and more hauls for the rest of the week. And when this week's finished, hopefully my book buying binge will be over for a little while at least. Bye for now, BookTube.